Welcome everyone to today's Empyrion Workshop Showcase. Join me as we take a look at the Blue Star Remade. So today's design is the Blue Star Remade Alpha 8, and this is basically a remake of the original Blue Star design from creator Alex Mihai. This is an unlock level 25 size class 7 capital vessel, and the remake is basically an update of it to make it Alpha 8 compatible. Now, one of the first things you may notice about this is the very vibrant color scheme at the rear of the vessel. To me, this is the part that stands out the most, and not in a good way necessarily. The design at the back with all the different pipes going the different directions and the vibrant colors, plus the two little side cafe type lounge areas, makes me think of this as like a luxury cruise liner, and the back section is the water park for the kids to play in. And then the two side lounges are there for the parents to keep an eye on their kids without getting too wet. Coming to the back of the ship, instead of having the traditional hover vessel ramp, we actually have a ramp allowing us to just walk up into the ship. Starting in this room, you see we have a medic station and an O2 station, as well as a cargo box kind of in the corner. On each side past the guards, we have generators, as well as RCS. Coming up the stairs, we come into a nicer section of the ship, where immediately we have two more cargo boxes embedded in the walls. We look ahead, we see a nice little spot where you can see we have a warp drive fuel tank. And then coming on up this way, we come to our oxygen storage. And on the sides, we have our fuel storage and a thruster at the back. It's also notable that these tall red columns on each side are actually enclosed thrusters. I think it's also important to point out that only one side has the extra ammo boxes while the other side has none. And now continuing up the long set of stairs here, we will come up to the two side terraces, which you can access through these doors. As you can see, there are some people already out here enjoying the nice sunny weather. But to me, this seems a little weird because all of this stuff would have to be bolted down, because as soon as you go up into space, it's all going to float away. Then continuing up the last set of stairs, we come into the main bridge where we have some guards, we have our workers, we also have our nice captain seat at the front, as well as our assisting pilots. At the end where we walked up, we have a medic station and an O2 station, as well as switches to control our gravity generator and our thrusters. Back where we came in from the engineering section, if we go instead up the stairs here, we come up and see our repair control console, as well as a power switch, basically pointing to here and to outside. Coming outside, we walk along this nice lit path and up here to our one landing pad for a small vessel, where you will also see we have our repair bay module. And don't forget to say hello to the two guards on your way back into the ship. Coming back in, we see our armor locker and a nice blue cargo box over to the side. And if we go over here past the switch and take the elevator, we come into our warp drive area where we have our fuel tank and our warp drive core. It also is interesting to note that most times, most designers would have this sort of piping connect directly to the warp drive itself, but here it looks more like it's kind of a pump that is firing into the warp core itself rather than just connected straight to it. So now let's take the last set of stairs down, and this brings us to a nice little hallway where on one side we have a guy kind of hiding behind the bushes here, and on the other side, access to the captain's room. Make sure you stay quiet. As we come in the door, we see we have an armed guard here to protect the captain, or perhaps protect the captain's private garments. We have a nice little lounge area over here, and then going up the stairs, we come into the more private section of the captain's quarters. So the door immediately to the right when you come in is your toilet and shower access. Going around the corner, we have our nice kitchenette area, as well as a dinner table of sorts. We have here our private lounge, so you actually have the public lounge and the private lounge, so I guess you could tell your not so good friends to wait outside. You have a repair station, and coming up the stairs to the top, we have an even more private personal area for the captain. So you'll notice there's another couch sectional here that gives you a place to sit and watch this TV, as well as keep a tab on things with a nice display screen. We also have our nice decorative plant, our own armor locker, 2 closets, a nice little bedside table, and a nice bed, along with our nice view outside the ship. Honestly, I don't know why it's called the captain's room, because this is bigger than some people's houses. Now back in the hallway right here at the bottom of the stairs between the 2 sides, we have another door. This leads us first to our emergency bridge, where we have another pilot seat, our assistant here who's ready to go, and our gravity generator in the next room. Right here we have our conference room with a meeting going on, probably talking about how they're tired of the MREs and really want some good meat or good vegetables to eat instead. Now before we look at the medical area here, I want to point to the left and right where we have our fauna nurseries. On the right we have fauna nursery 1, and on the left fauna nursery 2. These are the exact same on both sides. Each side is a grid of 9x5 grow plots, giving you a total of 45 per side and a total of 90 between the 2 sides. Now I want to point out something here, and that is if you look to the right, you see we have docking bay 1, and then here, along with the medical area, we have docking bay 2. Docking bay 1 and 2 are very small hover vessel bays. As you can see, there's not a lot of room in here, so you're not going to be putting the biggest hover vessels in here that you can. Entering into the medical bay area, you see first we have our medical scanners for our different types of ailments. Of course, our medic station and an O2 station. Over here we have our clone chamber as well as some storage. We also have over here a nice display screen talking about some of the scans being done on a patient. We have food production here, which is actually colored red to match with the decor, and to point out this is not specifically for food, but more for your medical supplies. And then along the side here, we have access to docking bay number 2 for your second hover vessel. Now, walking past docking bay number 1, if we come up the stairs here, we come up to a nice little lounge overview area where we can look down into the cafeteria below. You can also come over here and sit in an observation type area over the medical bay. Underneath these stairs, we have a shower and toilet available for anyone coming out of the medical bay or coming out of the cafeteria. So we have a nice sign here on the wall telling you that today's special is roast desert worm, so make sure you give that a try. We also have a nice kitchenette area and our actual food production setup where we have 2 more fridges and a food processor. It's also notable that they are very eager for Christmas to arrive, so they already have their Christmas tree up and some presents set out. Now, in this room, we also have connections to 2 more nurseries. On the left and right, we have Medical Nursery 1 and 2. The previous ones were Nursery 1 on the right and Nursery 2 on the left. These are reversed. This is Nursery 1 on the left and Nursery 2 on the right. These are smaller 5x5 grid rooms, giving you a total of another 50 grow plots total for the ship, bringing the entire ship's total to 140 grow plots. Continuing through the other end of the cafeteria, we come into our fabrication and storage area, where we have very nicely laid out cargo boxes with big labels on them, and they are all color coded, making it easier to keep track of where you need to go. We also have a pair of advanced constructors in here, as well as 2 harvest cargo boxes. And going to the end of the room, we come into the forward bridge, where we have some more nice displays, more information about the system, and of course, another nice little control area where you can pilot the ship. Now, you have the main bridge up top, where you do have your switches for your thrusters. That is why this bridge is meant more for controlling the drill lasers in the front and drilling out asteroids. So once again, this is the Blue Star Remade for Alpha 8, and it is an unlock level 25 size class 7 CV. It only has 13 fuel tanks, but it gives you 78,000 fuel capacity, and sitting still with the thrusters turned off, you have 70 hours of use. It also comes with 10 oxygen tanks for a total of 20,000 O2 and only needs 3,847 to fill it up. It carries 14 ventilators and 3 O2 stations. There's also 3 medic stations around for healing and the 1 clone chamber in the medical bay so you can respawn. For attack and defense, it has a nice balance of in-atmosphere and outside-atmosphere weaponry. It comes with 1 artillery turret, 6 minigun turrets, and 6 pulse laser turrets. There is also a single drill turret on top, however, you're better suited probably using the 6 drill laser modules at the very front of the ship. It carries a total of 43 cargo boxes plus 4 ammo boxes. There's also a total of 5 fridges, 2 food processors, and 2 advanced constructors. Now in terms of resources, this is pretty cheap for the most part. With just over 14,000 sathium and 12,000 iron needed to build it, that's going to be the easiest part of getting this before unlock level 25. The just over 4,000 neodymium could be a bit of a problem, plus the 1,741 erestrum and zascosium. You may also find it a bit tedious to get the 140 growing plots made, as well as coming up with the 46 gold ingots to cover all the NPCs. Now when it comes to maneuverability, this is actually a pretty good ship. It has a very good turning speed, and the acceleration is very good, allowing it to hit the top speed in a very short amount of time. I also want to point out that it has a very good flight time. Even turning left and right, moving all over the place with full fuel capacity, I had around 28 to 30 minutes of flight time. On the workshop page in the description, it is stated this is made for 1 or 2 players. And I definitely agree, this is definitely more of a single player or a 2-player friendly co-op type design. I definitely feel it has more of a benefit towards small vessels because the repair bay module is on the top landing pad, making it hard for you to get your hover vessels up there to be repaired. You also have very small hover bays for those vessels, meaning you are a bit more limited in what size vessels you can use. I definitely feel this is more geared towards a small vessel that has both attack type capabilities as well as an all-around work capability, and then the hover vessel bays are meant more for mining and harvesting hover vessels. Because of the size limitation on the hover vessels, this is definitely one I would not be able to use in my own gameplay. And as I said earlier, to me the multicolored rear of the ship kind of stands out in a bad way, but hey, to each his own. Some of you may find it very fun and playful. To me, it seems a little too playful with that. But once again, this is the Blue Star Remade, and it is Alpha 8 compatible, coming to us from creator Alex Mihai. If you would like to try this out in your own game, I will have a link in the description below, and if you try it out and like it, be sure to leave a thumbs up and a nice comment on the workshop page. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I will see you in the next video.